Yuji is now officially the Kirby of Jujutsu Kaisen, just absorbing everything and taking everyone's powers. Spoiler for JJK manga, but we learned that Yuji has been the true MVP of this last arc. Not only was he teleporting people to and from the battlefield, getting them to safety, he's the reason why Yuji is so strong now. Because look, Yuji has the ability to swap people's souls, which finally explains what we saw in chapter 222, with Kusakabe seemingly being inside of Yuji's body and vice versa. Apparently, once Kusakabe used his abilities such as his simple domain in Yuji's body, the technique itself was engraved into the body, allowing Yuji to use it on his own. The soul swapping ability coming from Yuji kind of came out of left field for me personally. I still wish it was Yuji's own thing. But back to more important matters, we say that this soul swapping technique is limited to 2 times per person a month. Meaning after switching with Kusakabe, Itadori has one more person he can switch with and gain their techniques and abilities. And knowing Gege and this series as a whole, since Sukuna is about to burn everyone alive with his flames, something tells me that Yuji's newest and final ability will be something to stop the King of Curses, or try to at least. So who did he switch with and what ability did Yuji learn? And remember, all these conversations and training and switching happened during that month time skip, so everyone who is dead currently would have been alive and soul swapped ready during that time. Before going into our possible candidates, there is some dialogue that confused me in the manga. When everyone was first discussing how to combat Sukuna, Hikari stated that they needed anti-domain counters or the reverse curse technique. And in response, Chozo explained that Yuji and himself could handle the RCT due to their weird blood manipulation bodies and all that. But then later, Chozo said he wanted someone who could use RCT in the replacement training, so they couldn't handle it, I guess. Anyways, it was just weird wording in the official translation, but since Yuji can use RCT now, we have to assume that the only people who can use reverse curse technique got soul swapped, and were also in these team meetings. So we were left with Yuta, Shoko, Hikari, Higuruma, and Gojo. I think you see where I'm going with this one. We can eliminate 2 people from consideration right off the bat, Hikari and Higuruma. First off, Hikari, as awesome as he is, doesn't actually have RCT. His healing is completely automatic, and more importantly, completely dependent on him getting a jackpot in his domain. Not only does it take time to get a jackpot, during this time, Yuji is completely vulnerable, so it doesn't make sense as Yuji healed multiple times and showed no signs of any gambling or domain expansion. Next is the man who rivals Gojo, remember that? Hiromi Higuruma, and he would honestly be a great option with his incredible intelligence and skill. However, he didn't learn reverse curse technique until his battle with the King of Curses, which I mean, sure, I guess that means his body had the ability and capacity to learn it, but if Yuji and Chozo were looking for RCT users in that moment, Higuruma saying I can maybe learn to use it maybe helps actually nobody. So that leaves us with Shoko, Yuta, and Gojo. And look, I have nothing against Shoko, she's great. She was also another key player in this final arc. But like, come on, if we're getting Yuji another ability, I don't think anyone's looking at the doctor and healer to be picked for that role. Yuta and Gojo though have some of the flashiest and most powerful techniques. And we can't forget this is a shonen series. The flashier, the better. Beyond that superficial reason, I gotta say that soul swapping with Gojo is not the right move. I know what my title says, but hear me out. The 6 size is the only reason Gojo is as strong as he is, as it keeps his cursed energy loss to basically nothing. Meaning he's able to keep his infinity up always, constantly use RCT, plus all his other abilities. As Yuji would just be getting the limitless technique and the RCT from this switch, he doesn't have the experience, skill, and just know-how to use it well, just like Gojo. So just a few attacks would probably deplete Itadori's cursed energy, which, to be fair, one big surprise attack could be what they need to win. But there's a way to have Gojo and not soul swap with him, and the answer is the boy with attachment issues, Yuta Akotsu. Yuta's curse technique copy allows him to use other people's curse techniques, and although the method behind it hasn't been outright confirmed yet, it was heavily implied that Yuta was able to copy Uro's technique when Rika ate her arm. And if eating's what we're talking about, our man Yuji is the way to go. He even stated that he would eat anything to save Megumi. Could that also include Gojo's finger? There's also some connections that make sense if Yuta were the one to swap. For one, when both Yuji and Yuta were fighting Sukuna in that domain, their teamwork was outstanding, like even beyond Yuji and Todo levels of cooperation. It was glorious. Not to mention, it was confirmed in the latest chapter that Yuta uses RCT mainly based on instinct. When Yuji was trying to heal himself in chapter 252, he was reminded about his teachings when he first learned RCT, which is to visualize the outline of the body and what needs healing. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a person who uses instincts trying to explain to someone else how to do it. If it was Shoko trying to teach him, she would have explained it in a much more scientific and intelligent way, and really know that Gojo is not the best when it comes to actually teaching the techniques itself. Other than that, copying Gojo's abilities, what use is gaining Yuta's technique? Well, one thing, throughout all these fights, it seems more and more apparent that everyone had contingencies to when Gojo lost, almost like they were expecting that to happen. With no faith for their teacher aside, having Yuta's copy is like having every other curse technique in the whole series. Okay, maybe not that wide of an arsenal, but the amount and unpredictability is something that keeps Sukuna at a disadvantage always. If the characters wanted to be smart about who gets swapped, then doing it with the literal walking buy one get one deal is the best option. Imagine Yuji using Jacob's ladder or even Toto's ability, cause like damn, is he ever gonna come back? But what do you guys think of my idea? Is Yuta the missing piece, or is Gojo always the answer? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Alright, peace.